welcome into another episode of Strange Ways. And we have Mr. Simmons with us today, the demon, bat, lizard, whatever you want to call him. And I forget what episode this is, and I don't even really care. They're numbered on each thumbnail. 10, 11?
10, it's 10 or 11, 1.
All right. I will turn it over to Scott, and he will let you know what's going on.
Okay, you guys are in for a treat today. Oh, God. It's like I was telling Rob, this has been one hell of a day today. The perfect day to do this damn album. The Gene Simmons solo. We're going to rank the songs. Now, believe it or not, it's going to be more interesting than you realize. So, Rob said he hasn't listened to this in a while. Say hey to Rob. Okay, you got to come down a little bit.
Hello.
That's my daughter. And we're going to get with it by ranking them, and you can just let us know, did we suck? Did we do a good job? What's your favorite song? So there we go, man. You can take it away if you want to.
Okay, yes, like Scott said, I had not listened to this in a while, and by a while, I mean probably 20, 30 years. Even as a kid, when I got this, I got hung up on Radioactive and Living in Sin, and that was pretty much it. As a kid, I was looking for rock, Kiss-style music, and this album was not it. And I have not revisited it really much at all. So this was an interesting re-listen for me, and it turns out as people mature, so do their tastes. This album was not nearly as bad as I thought it was. And coming in, the bottom, the song I'm going to give you at number 11 is horrible. And that's not a shot at Gene. It's a shot at the song itself. I've never liked it by anybody. I've never been a Disney person. The last few songs on this list are ones I could, go the rest of my life without listening to. But once I get around number 6 on up, fabulous songs. So number 11 for me, and an absolute unlistenable music song by anybody, is When You Wish Upon a Star, especially on a makeup album cover with blood coming out of the demon's mouth. This just makes no sense to me.
You see that?
Yeah, I can.
This is one of my surgical caps. I had the wire working in the operating room. So you can make.
Yeah, you never did tell me what you do for a living.
I don't do anything now but look after my crazy mom, but she's got to have surgery tomorrow. That's why this has been a hell of a day. Oh, God. I'm telling you, man, this has just been. Now, I worked in the operating room for about 10 years. You know, all the gory, man, just everything you think of, and it is that, plus a little more. But anyway, I won't gross y'all out with those details right now.
Sure.
But he hit it right on the head. That is beyond. Now, I'm going to tell you, man, from since I was a little kid and first heard this, and my cousins, Atlanta's where I first heard this. There's certain things and points and times, and in history, you remember somehow, some way. And at that point in time, Gene was I was Gene, brother, all in on Gene. And When You Wish Upon a Star, dude, just kind of, I don't know, man. I really don't even know what I said about it. I don't know if I had anything to say at that point in time. But this time, I'm just saying, I don't understand it. I never have understood it. Gene could have really probably salvaged this album, making probably 5 or 6 tracks. I don't know if he'd have been able to salvage it. I'm just saying, what you said pretty much. This, I hadn't revisited this whole album either, man, until here recently, man, after we talked about it. I had got a couple songs on my flash drive from this album that I listened to, but not the whole album. So Yeah, man. It does hit you a little different at points and times, man. I don't know what about it does, really, honestly. I mean, how do people like, well, how does it do that? I don't know. I can't really explain it in words on how that shit happens, man. But that's my least favorite by far. I don't think that I know that'll never change. That'll never change.
No. And before anybody shouts out that there's a special immigrant type meeting for this, that he can reach for the stars, I've heard some different stories of why this song means a lot to him. I don't care. I'm not here to feel sympathy or understand his childhood. I'm here as a Kiss fan to realize this is a garbage song that does not belong there. So whatever the meaning is not my problem.
No.
Now, number 10, another one that's just always near you, nowhere to hide. Not quite unlistenable, but it's close. It's just, I'm not going to say it's cringeworthy. It's just another one with what were you thinking? I just don't understand the difference. I tell you, a lot of these songs on the bottom of my list, you could tell and hear his Beatles influence. And I don't need that out of the Demon. I just don't. I'm not knocking the Beatles. I'm saying this is Kiss. This is the Demon. Do better. Represent your fans better.
Yeah, I'm on board with you, man. And it did take me a while to shake the Demon. And when I did, damn, I shook it to Peter Criss. You know, you would think that I would be reflecting the solo albums and be going from bad to worse. But, you know, in all honesty, I don't know what it was. I know that the drums, you know, have a thing for me, but that's Pete's time. So anyway, so far, me and you's 2 for 2, brother. Always near you, nowhere to hide is my number 10. There's just, I don't know where to hide. There's just nothing memorable about this song. It don't even really change pace through the song, except for toward the end where he's saying no and hide. He's got the background, the female singers, you know, hitting their little tempos. Just well, just like you said, the Demon.
See, I'm glad you brought that up just there about the female singers, because I was going to ask you, as soon as I was giving this a re-listen, I was kind of laughing to myself. I'm like, man, I remember Scott saying that he liked this album and goes back to it once in a while, but you always have negative things to say about Kiss when they use female singers, and this album's loaded with female singers.
It's almost every song, if not every.
Yeah.
I don't think it's.
Yeah.
I'll get to it, but I don't think it's every song. But it's 80%, 90%. I shit you not. They're in here. So,
and you brought up too your love for drums, which is no secret on this show. You made that clear. I had a commenter ask us if we're musicians, and I could not answer for you. Of course, I let him know that from the ages of about 10 to about 30, when I was done with it. I was a guitar player. I don't know about your musical background.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My musical background is Zeppelin, Cooper, and
no. Did you?
Oh, you talking about what I played?
Did you play an instrument?
Yeah, man. I used to play the bass, and we used to play in the basement, man. Me and these 2 twins and my nephew, man. We used to jam out back in the early '90s, dude. Played Pulls and Cinderella, Firehouse, Kiss, AC/DC. I mean, we had some tracks from just about all of them, man. And then I got to where I'd play the drums a little bit. That's what I always wanted to do right there. That was always my instrument of choice. I've got a big set out there in the building. I'm just too lazy to set them up. It's just too damn hot, to be honest with you. But that's something I'm not knocking off of my bucket list. Believe it or not, I do want to just learn how to play the drums in some of the songs that I really love. On the drums, I don't care if they're simple drum beats or not.
Right.
I'm not going to be no Neil Peart or Neil Peart anyway. So, yeah, man. Yeah.
All right, then back to it. My number 9 is one that I was familiar with, but I'm still not crazy sold on it, and that's Mr. Make Believe. Again, some of these songs just way too Beatle-esque for me to be on a Kiss, well, Gene Simmons solo album. It's funny because you look at the stuff he put on this and then what he put on the solo album Asshole. There's no comparison at all to where his, personal music direction was going. There's no connection to the 78 stuff. I'm guessing he was trying to do his best Beatles, influence tribute on this album. That's why.
Hey, I couldn't have said it any better because I know I hit the wrong button there, bro. But yeah, man, the Beatles thing, dude. Now, I will say this. I like it on part of these songs, the ones that I do like. But if he would have just used the rest of the album, the songs that we're going through now, to bring the demon out, what a transformation
Yeah.
this album could have had, and a resurgence. Him and Peter,
Yeah.
look, while we're on this, I'm going to go ahead and get into it before we get to the end. And your number 9, right, was
Yeah.
Mr. Make Believe. Okay. Well, my number 9, I'll go ahead and say it is True Confessions. Just the simple, and the True Confessions. I believe I say that 30 times at the end of this freaking song, bro. I'm just giving you I know they don't say it that many times, but you know what I'm saying, right? And it just really starts creeping up my spine after about 4 or 5. And then they start in singing backup singers. Here we go. Just really, it's real confession. But anyway, I'm not far from Make Believe. But anyway, why did Bill Coin and Sean Delaney? I know that Sean produced Gene's album, and Peter kind of got pissed off, but Peter was dragging his damn feet, and then by the time Peter couldn't get the producers he wanted to get his album, Sean was already doing Gene's. That's why he couldn't do Peter's, so he got Ponce up to do his. But anyway, why was there not something in the contract saying, look, guys, these albums, now, if you want to experiment with maybe 2 tracks of what maybe your musical background is, that's as far as it goes. These are going to be Kiss albums. It's going to have Kiss in the corner of it, bro. You're going to have to play Kiss songs. You're going to have to come up with hard rock songs. Just take a look on what you've done so far. Pick your best out of the past and go by that trademark. But we cannot completely alienate the whole damn Kiss army with these albums, guys. Now, why something like that was not put in the contract is beyond me. It should have been put in there so they wouldn't have had no choice. Experiment with play with your 2 damn songs. I don't give a shit. All right? But the rest of it's got to be Kiss. Okay? We're on top now. We've got to stay here if you want to. If not, trash it. We'll go down quicker than we came up. See, that's my problem with that. Now, I know Bill was probably getting into the drugs and stuff at the time, but still, Bill Coin kept them going, man, and just the most brilliant guy that they didn't really. I know Gene and Paul really don't give him the respect. I don't think Ace does either that he deserves. I know Peter does, and Sean Delaney, for God's sakes, the moves that he pulled out for them, those wasn't the original moves. He's the one that discovered Gene sticking his tongue out all the time. Hey, that's going to be you. That's it. You're going to be doing that. That's your move. Come over here and do that, blah, blah, blah. You're going and I want you to lumber around. You're going to be that all the time. You're going to be the demon, pretty much. And Paul's, where they dyed their hair. He in the rehearsals, he called him scratching his head. You can't do that on stage, bro. You got to make a move out of it. Throw the guitar back there, man, and scratch the hell out of your head. You know, he's the one that came up with those moves for these guys in the beginning. But to get back to this, that should have been in the contract. Why it wasn't, I don't know. That would have been a great room to have been in discussing what they're going to do on these things, man.
Well, especially when you consider why they did it, right? The band was splitting or wanted to split. They talked Peter and Ace out of quitting, saying, "Fine, you want do your own. We'll all do solo album. If you're gonna put them in makeup, put the Kiss title in the corner." And the idea is to save the band from self-destructing internally. Why would you put out such divisive albums? Not even in contrast to each other, but divisive to fans. I mean, it's not a good saving move, and there's no mystery why it undersold, and they end up having to send half of this shit back. And everywhere you went back then, you could find solo albums anywhere with the corners cut off in the clearance bin. I mean, they overshipped them and
every one of the
overprinted
corners
them.
of mine was cut off, and this was right after they came out, man. And I always wondered about that. What the hell happened here? But
I mean,
yeah,
you're
man.
trying to save the band that was already getting a little wishy-washy. This letting Peter and Gene do what they did was a big mistake. Somebody should have been there reeling them.
And this is the point in time whenever we have our next long discussion. This is the era we're going to be in. After Kiss Alive 2, what kind of decision would you have made better for the band? And I know, yeah, I'm on Ace and Peter's side at this point in time, you know, because, yes, take a break. People's got to go back in your catalog, guys. Y'all are number one right now. You don't have to keep pumping shit out every damn year. My God, especially this. And they just they saturated the damn system so bad. Just the market was just so overrun. Well, at this point in time, you got to realize that the hardcore first three and the live fans are already on shaky ground. Okay. And it's the young kids. Hell, I'm 8 years old when these come out, bro. That's what was starting to, the younger kids and stuff were really picking Kiss up, man. If it wasn't for my mom, what store am I going to go in and buy all these damn albums, bro? None. Yeah. So man, there you go. And they wanted to make sure Bill Coyne was so smart about that too, man. Let's make everybody believe that everything's still tight, still good. We're still Kiss. That's why you put it to each member on the back of your album and, all this. And just like Paul Stanley said, yeah, we put all that on there, but we was wishing each other anything but. Came right out of his mouth. He said at that point in time, he said it wasn't just Peter and Ace. Gene was really, causing some shit back then with the movie stars dating, they were all getting jealous of him being the standout pitcher and them below him hearing little pictures, and shit like on the Phantom of the Park. Gene's the big guy like Godzilla, and they're like them threes down here. That was really getting under there. But anyway, yeah, there you go, bro.
All right, well, I got up to then, and number 8 for me is what your number 9 was, True Confessions. Just another one I have really no time for. Like I said, the back half of this album is bad, and the top half of the album is good. It's just how it works out for me for whatever reason. I keep going back to the Beatle thing. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like some Beatles songs, but I don't want it out of my Kiss member, especially the Demon Kiss member. It'd be more acceptable out of Peter maybe than this. And first of all, I hate Gene's voice. I hated it back in Wicked Lester when he tried to do that Beatles sound. I just can't stand it. It's so nasally and whatever. The song, just another one that's forgettable.
Okay. Hey, fair enough, man, because I'm like that on most of these. But there is some I do like his voice on, but I just not the whole album. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, my number 8, right? Is
Mhm.
Mr. Make Believe. You just hit on it. So we almost hit on the same ones right there, dude. I don't know, man. Just this tempo is, I don't know. He doesn't really change tempo in this song, I don't think at all. I've tried to figure this one out. And I do believe that there's a few songs on here, there's a couple of songs on here where he is trying to describe his life in Kiss with the Demon and Gene Simmons, different people, whatever, or whoever's real name is. I can't even pronounce it, but um, with Mr. Make Believe and the other one that we'll get to. But why so slow, bro? I
Yeah.
mean, these are the ones that I'm not in favor of the Beatle copycat tunes. There you go. That's all. That's the only way I can put it.
All right. Well, now it should be getting a little better. Number
Hope.
7 for me is Tunnel of Love. It's again, it's still not great, but we're getting to the more listenable part of the album. For me, he just lacks any kind of nothing. Like you said, nothing stands out. Nothing is memorable. These songs are so generic until you get to the top few. For someone with such a big ego and having to have all the biggest stars on the album recording with him and all this stuff, it was really a lackluster um, effort as far as the actual songs themselves. I think he was more interested in all the names he could surround himself with than putting out good music. I don't know how else to say it, but at least this one's starting to get more into where, okay, that's a decent song. I can let that play in its entirety. But I don't know.
Hey, I'm not far behind you on that. I agree with what you're saying because he did have a lot of people coming in and out, a lot of female singers from different places. My God. Uh, uh, what is Al Bundy's wife on the show?
Yeah.
She's in this thing.
Married with
So,
Children. Yeah.
yeah, man. Um, my next one is, I guess, number 7, right? Would be uh, Living in Sin at the Holiday Inn. Okay.
Oh,
Now,
that far down.
unfortunately, this one used to be one of my favorites on here when I was young. Uh, because of the phone call and okay, that's Cher, I didn't know about her daughter or anything. Okay, now I get it. I see, I understand. I know what's going on. It's not just a rumor, blah, 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 because I'm pretty sure I heard about that before I heard this, and I hadn't seen any magazines quite yet, I don't think, that had them in it. So,
Right.
and my cousin was my information at that time. He was about 5, 6 years my senior. But just at least the tempo changes a little bit. His voice changes a little bit. He's not
Yeah.
Beatlesque through this whole song. At least he's getting, a little more active. But just I don't know, just the sexy letters and all that shit. That's just where it wound up, man, this time, bro.
All right. Where the hell am I? Number 6, Man of 1,000 Faces. I like the chorus. There's just something missing that would make this song better to me. But again, it's starting to pick up for me. After this, it's going to be, I can comment a lot more on some of this stuff. Some of these songs are just so generic. I have a hard time listening to them enough to put together a real analysis of it. I don't know. I don't know how a producer's job, right, is to make sure that mistakes aren't being made. And I don't know. I don't understand. Did he check out halfway through the? I don't know, because nobody was really leading the ship. This album's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. And this is the point in time in the list where I'm starting to like part of the song and part of it I'm not. Yeah, it's this right here. Um, can you hear any of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tunnel Love's my next one. I love how he comes out with that bass, okay?
Yeah.
And you think it's making you believe right here a little bit. And then they start jamming. Actually, Gene takes off a little bit. And starting to jam, you know, and this song, he's pulling me in at this point in time. But, you know, it just spills over and pollutes the whole damn song. It's like, Gene, you're trying, brother. You're fucking got me in this net, man. And then now you're just dragging me down the street, bro. That's where I'm at with this song. The bass of it. It's like he's accidentally trying maybe a little bit on some of these songs, man. But 50-50 on that song, man. I love how it starts. I love how he starts singing. I love how they start rocking at the first, and then it just goes to hell in a handbasket, brother.
Like I said, it goes back to the producer. I mean, there's no direction.
No.
Whether it's song to song or within a song, it's just like, it's almost like these were recorded in bits and pieces, and then, you know, they record that intro to Tunnel of Love and then come back 6 months later and finish it and forget to listen to what it sounded like in the first place.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you go ahead.
So mine. Okay.
I was just going.
So my number 5. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Sean Delaney had made a statement about it was mad trying to produce this album because he was the producer. And he said Gene was so just intolerable almost at times. The musicians he had pulled in started to walk out the door on him, bro, because he was calling them, hey, lead guitar and drummer, and he wasn't even calling them by their fucking names, man. And they were really starting to get irritated with him big time. And Sean was the peacemaker, you know, hey, you know, let's. And he said it was really an insane job to try to put this together, man. Just for the record. There you go. I can imagine.
Because I'm sure. Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have a big, long discussion about everything that went wrong with Kiss. And I mean to tell you, as much as I'm on record dogging Ace and Peter for their self-abuse and irresponsibility, I can't think of a more poison pill in this fucking band from the beginning to the end than Gene Simmons. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, you're right, and we'll get to that. And I'm on board with you with that, bro. Like I said, we'll get to that because I've got mud to sling at every one of them. So all of them, yeah, about something.
All
right, it's on me.
It's my number 5. And this song I actually really like, Burning Up with Fever. I love this chorus. I mean, I know you got some more female singers in there, but it works. This song is very catchy, and I could easily, you know, listen to this on purpose, which is rare on this album. I like the song. I think it's a really, really catchy tune.
And that's you.
And I had completely forgotten about it and just missed it as a kid. But now going back and listening to it a few days ago, I really like it.
Well, bro, I guess I'm there with you because my next one is Burning Up with Fever. No, that's the wrong one. Yes.
Yeah,
When this starts, I'm
it
hooked,
almost
brother.
could be on Love Gun.
I'm hooked, ain't you?
Yeah, the whole sound
And
of this
then
is like it could fit on Love Gun.
that's Gene, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then like this, like you said, and I got it in the same spot. And I'm not as intolerable with this one as I am Tunnel of Love. That's why Tunnel of Love's below it. I love how this begins, man. Like he's got me on the fishing reels, reeling me in, bro. I'm in, bro. And that I'm gifted giver. I mean, he's really rocking out at points and times. He's having his moments. He just for
right.
some reason can't just complete. There's something that just goes haywire with him and these female singers, man. Even though they do pull this off better than Tunnel of Love and what we have talked about thus far. So I'm on page with you with that one, man. That's our number 4.
5.
Number 5. I'm with you.
Okay, so my number 4 is a very good ballad, and I believe they did it on MTV Unplugged. See You Tonight. Um, that one I could have seen maybe getting on a Kiss album somewhere. But it, like I said, it's very well written. It's got a good singable chorus. I like that better than A World Without Heroes, and some of the other,
Oh,
slower stuff I've heard Gene do.
okay. Okay. Hey, I thought you was gonna say something else, I'll get to that. All right, man. Hey, my number 4 is Man of a Thousand Faces. Now,
Wow, that high up, huh?
huh?
You got that one pretty high up.
Yeah, man. And I've always had somewhere for this song. Here we go. Walk the streets by day, man. Jordan, it's too low, but he starts screaming that towards the end, man. Man, it has a heck of stuff. This one, I like. I've always liked. I ain't never loved, but I like it. To me, I've always had a place for this one because he sings really good on this song, man. And tip my hat to you got loud right there. Cause I am, so I give it to Sean Delaney, man, for producing this album and making it sound as good as he did. Because, in my opinion, now this is just my opinion, it's a great sounding album. I think it's produced excellent considering what you've got here. I mean, if you turn this album up, which is a very rare thing, but when you do,
Right.
you can really hear the production excellent on this album, how good it is
And
produced.
that's
If it would have
and
been a
that's why
rock album,
on the production thing I'll yield to you because I haven't cranked this album ever. I don't think even as a kid. It just doesn't have that vibe. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I know you've always said how well this and Peters is produced. I've never had a problem with Ace and Paul's production. But I guess I don't listen to anybody's solo album except for Paul's, in the past 30 years.
oh well.
That's a go-to. That's a go-to on anything for me. I put Paul's when I do a compilation, I want Kiss music. Every track except Hold Me Touch Me is on the Kiss album
I got you.
compilation.
I feel you, man. And it's hard to be
And
pissed off at these. I mean, it's easy to be pissed off at these albums, man. I am too. And
yeah,
it's been 3 or 4 years since I've listened to this in its entirety. It's not my go-to by any means. I mean, I just want everybody to know that. But if you listen to it through a good system, I'm just saying the sound is good. It picks up everything that's there, man. we'll get on that too. I'm not going to get on the solo albums and my favorite. And, that's always, we can go into a hell of a loop on these things on a discussion. But, yeah, I think that his and Peter's actually had two of the best productions if they would have just been what they should have been. Wow. What would we be saying about Paul's and Aces if they would have came out and done what we thought they should have done? It's like I said, it's a discussion we'll have.
If Peter's solo album was filled with getaways and dirty living and black diamonds, so there'd be a whole different conversation.
Yes, that's my point in being. Gene's God of Thunders, Almost Humans, Cold Gins, just whatever, man. Two timers. I mean, hell, I'll take anything, bro. Anything.
Yeah.
Hell, I'll take Sweet Pain. I don't give a damn.
Well, and I can hear the arguments now because I've heard them before. Well, this was a chance for them to do the music that they truly liked. Because very rare is any band, you name it, Metallica, whoever. Look, Garth Brooks' childhood heroes were Kiss. He's a country singer. So very rare do people actually play and become successful doing the music they prefer. However, with that being said, you go where your bread is buttered and your fan base is. And to me, that cop out that the supporters of any band or artist who expresses themselves creatively on a solo album differently than the band, my comeback to that always is, who the fuck are you selling it to? Right? Because chances are, whether you're an AC/DC member or Guns N' Roses or Metallica or Kiss, your fan base is into that music. Nobody gives a shit about what they grew up with. I'm a Kiss fan. I don't want to hear the fucking Beatles. I mean, I just don't understand that. If you want to do that, you do it after you're officially out of the band and it's over. Then you do it. Not while you're still part of that band. Do not put that band's name in the corner if you're going to come out and sound like anything but that band. That is just a mistake to me. All you're doing is pissing off all of your fans who are buying it. The people who may like that music don't even fucking know who you are and will never hear it.
Yep.
So it's a lose-lose situation.
You just took the words out of my mouth, man. I was getting ready to say, this is something you do now. This is something you do after the fact. You know, and where's the producers at on here, man, too? Hey, what are you, dude? Sean was with them from the beginning, dude. What the hell are you doing? I mean, yeah, I guess if there's nothing you can do.
How about the record label? The record labels usually step in and say, what the hell is this garbage? I'm not paying you to put this crap up.
Yeah, I mean, Neil Bogart, I can't imagine him, at this point in time. What's going on, guys? But I'm with you on board, bro. You don't experiment, man. This is no time for experimentation. But what happens when you get that taste of success? You're on top of the world. You got money now. It don't matter what I do. It'll sell. Just like Peter said about Love Gun. He didn't think it was quite as good as what they had just done, but they could do no wrong. Well, you will eventually do wrong, bro, and it'll show. Fans will show you. So, okay, man.
Yeah, the initial follow-up is never going to have that kind of disaster on it because you're coming off a high and people are going to buy it because they can't hear it first. This is the 70s. This ain't now where you can go stream, a minute sample. So you buy it thinking you're going to get what you used to get. So the album sales are still there. That doesn't mean there's a success with the fans. I mean, there's a lot of bands I bought back in the 70s and 80s. I bought their album and I never fucking listened to it after the first playthrough because it sucked. And that's a big reason why Napster and streaming became a big thing, is because these fucking bands in the 80s and early 90s were starting to fucking do this filler shit where they had a couple of good songs. They'd release those on CD singles or radio stations, and then you'd be suckered into buying a full price album. That sucked.
Yeah. Yep. There you go, man. Because you didn't, back then you thought, well, hell, if that's what the album sounds like, man, that's going to be kick ass. Yeah. I got reeled in more times than I can count, bro, on that. So, all right, number 4 for me. is
Yes.
See You in Your Dreams. Okay. Now, wait a minute. Whoa. No, that was my number 4, Man of a Thousand Faces. Okay.
Yes.
Your turn. You number 3. You done spit your number 3 out, or yet?
Oh, yeah. I need number 3. Number 3 for me is Living in Sin. And Living in Sin, I loved as a kid, except the phone call. Anybody who's watched my channel long enough has realized how much I fucking hate when they add non-music shit to songs. I can't stand it. So bad that I love the song Paradise by the Dashboard Lights from Meatloaf. Or not Paradise. You took the words right out of my mouth. I'll go back in, edit the fucking beginning shit off of these songs with his saliva smacking stupid talking in the beginning. And then I'll fucking re-download it after I edit it and then title it My Mix, and then that other one will never get listened to again. I hate this shit. I hate Pink Floyd when they're screaming about pudding. I cannot stand Knocking on Heaven's Door, which Guns N' Roses did a decent enough job with. Then you got this fucking stupid phone call in the fucking I got it blasting on my system because I want to jam. Now you got some douchebag talking and I hate that shit. But I loved Living in Sin, the song. Yes, it's corny. Yes, the sexual overtones of Gene didn't bother me then. Now I just want to slap him. He's so ridiculous. But as a kid, it didn't matter. It was a cool, methodical beat and bass riff, and he was all mysterious, and it worked for me back then, and it still works now, only because the competition on this album is not very strong.
Yeah. That's the way it goes, man. I loved it back then too. It just dropped a little bit over time for me. So I'm going to go with my next one, which will be See You in Your Dreams. Okay. And this one's not half bad, to be honest with you. We've already heard it, Rock and Roll Over. For some reason, he didn't like the version on Rock and Roll Over, and he wanted to redo it. Now, that's the story. Now, I'm one of the guys who I'm for the Rock and Roll Over version way before this one. That's just me. I don't know where he's going or what he's talking about. I'm not feeling what he's doing. But as far as the songs on this album, that's why it's that high, because I do like the song. It's not my favorite on Rock and Roll Over, but I do like it. And for this album, it's one of the best songs to me. So that's why it's where it's at.
And my number 2 is See You in Your Dreams. And I love this song on Rock and Roll Over. And I like the song on this album, and re-listening to it. See, we differ in the fact that I have always loved the female backing singers, like especially on, say, Silver Spoons, Tomorrow and Tonight. I love the females when done right. And they do a good job in this song. I never heard that story. And if there's truth to that, then he's an idiot. Because the Rock and Roll Over version, to me, that's one of the best songs on Rock and Roll Over, and it's because it showcases Paul's echoing Gene's verses in there, and Paul's voice is untouchable by 100,000 female singers. So the fact that he didn't like that version, to me, the only damn difference is that version's a little faster. It's not even heavier. It's just a little faster, and it's got female singers instead of Paul. And then to that, I say, go fuck yourself, Gene, because that was a mistake. Still good song on this album with the females, but having heard Paul first, not even close. I think I know at one point in time they overlapped the Cher Diana Ross shit. It seems to me with all the female singers in here, he's really in love with that Supremes Pointer Sisters type sound. With the women backup singers, or maybe it makes him think he's some kind of sex god to have all these females behind him singing. I don't know what the deal is. I like female singers.
Groove.
Yeah, but he's just overkilling it on this fucking album. Luckily, this song is so good they can't take away from it. But if you've heard Paul and Gene do this song, there's no comparison.
No, I'm with you all the way, bro. My number 3.
No, 2.
Your. Oh, that was
My number 3 was Living
I
in
know it's
Sin.
your number 2. Okay. My number 2.
That was my number 2. Yes.
Radioactive. Now.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean,
I haven't been paying attention. I'm curious what you got at number 1 now.
Yeah, man. Look, hey, this one was my favorite forever. Okay. You got the demonic beginning. You think that Lucifer himself's getting ready to come through the stereo speakers, bro. It's my first experience with this was insane. I done told you about that. Strobe lights and just evil just crawling in on you, bro. That's all I can say. With the organ, the opera singing or whatever, man, I got no problems with it. I think it's freaking awesome. And he hits into it, and Radioactive's kind of jamming, but for that intro, dude, you better be coming with, War Machine or Not for the Innocent or something, man. That's going to really make that intro justifiable, just. But Radioactive is just smooth. The singing in it's great. He does a great job singing it. The song's not that bad. Of course, it's the majority. I will give that to the Kiss fans. It's the majority vote on this album from him, and of course, it's always the go-to song when they did play it, off of the solo albums live or whatever. And I really don't have a whole lot of problem with this song considering the album itself, because at least we got a little bit of that side of Gene, I guess you could say, on the album. Just a taste that we should have got a lot more.
Okay, well, my number 1 is Radioactive, and like you said, as a kid, that intro scared the hell out of me. The visual in my brain was, just people burning in hell with bats flying around and shit. I mean, it was just scary as hell. As a kid, it did kick into a cool and heavy song by this album standards. But you're absolutely right. That intro should have gone into an unholy type song.
Yes.
But the bottom line is, and I brought this up with you before, and I don't care if it's a 4-hour podcast. We're going to have a goddamn conversation about the ups and downs and mistakes and what could have killed and all this other. I've touched on before. There's nothing else on this album that intro could have been used for any better. It's Radioactive's the heaviest song on here. So it always makes me go back to the question, after Destroyer, what the fuck happened to the demon character? He kept the image, but that grovelly tone from She and Watching You and God of Thunders, that was gone. You ain't finding that on Rock and Roll Over or Love Gun.
Now, I will say that on Rock and Roll Over, but the only thing now, Almost Human is the demon song. I will say that.
Oh, yeah, and Larger Than Life off of Alive too. But for the most part, that voice is gone. You don't really break that out again till Creatures.
Exactly.
With I Love It Loud and War Machine and all that stuff. I mean, I don't know. He all of a sudden just decided he wanted to just be a regular rock singer, but still be the demon. It made no fucking sense to me. But and then again, what else are you going to do? I mean,
what's that? You go.
No, I was done.
Oh. Now, if you wanted to pull a demon song from Dynasty, it would have to be X-Ray Eyes, which Charisma's pretty, I don't know. They're neither really demon, but they're kind of close.
No.
But if you're going to pull anything from Unmasked, hell, it's got to be Naked City. And that's not really what, that's not full demon, man. It don't even sound full demon. It's great, but it's not.
Charisma's more of a, I love Charisma, but that's more of a creepy stalker voice than a demon voice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. We'll toss it around on a full fucking podcast about this band, but
sounds great.
I completely agree with you on this, that intro doesn't fit the song, but judging by the other songs that were on this album, it couldn't really work with any of the other ones any better. So
What choice have you
anyway,
got?
you're number one.
Number
I'm curious
one.
now with your number one.
I know you are. See You Tonight. That's my number one.
Really?
This song I never paid attention to. I didn't even hear you say this song. Did you put this song in your lineup?
Yeah, I did. I said I think they played it on Unplugged, and that's what brought me back to the fact that it was actually
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I had See You Tonight as my number 4.
Okay, gotcha. All right. That one, ever since the MTV Unplugged, this has been my favorite song on this album because I actually went back and played this song on this album and actually paid attention to it. This is the song. If there was any song that I was going to leave on this album, this and Radioactive, maybe See You in Your Dreams, would probably be the only 3 that I would have left that were complete. I love how he sings this song. I love how he sung it on Unplugged. To me, this song has always been good, but I never paid attention to it back in the day. It was just one of these songs on here. And as many times as I've heard this, you would think I know, and it's my favorite song on here. This one's the one that don't have females on it, right?
It
does not.
I don't believe so.
I think he sings this one all the way through, and his voice, this is the perfect song to use that Beatlesque voice going, if he's going to use it. And I just love the song. I think it's a great song. And I'm not a lyric guy, but damn, Gene, did you pull this off by yourself? I do like it. I mean, I always have since Unplugged, man. It really woke me up to even probably a couple other songs that I hadn't paid attention to that much, but this one especially. Damn, I never seen that coming, But
and to show you how little I ever listened to this album, when Unplugged came out, I had no fucking idea what that was. It sounded vaguely familiar, but I was like, what the hell is this? I had to go back and figure out it was off his solo album.
I knew right away, man. Yeah. I mean, I had heard it enough to know where it was coming from, but it's something I hadn't been to in a long time, until then. But yeah, man, it's probably the only song I have on my flash drive on this album. On this album, yep, would be See You Tonight. And ever since the MTV Unplugged, it's been my favorite song on here. That's my number 1. Radioactive 2 and See You in Your Dreams is probably the only really worthable songs on here all the way through. It's a
really good album.
But there's several, or a few, not several, on here that I do love how he starts out, man, and you really feeling it, and he just drops you off a cliff. I'm with that too, man. So, yeah, very interesting listen this past time too. I know it was for you. And
I know it turned out to come across a lot more negative than I intended it to on this video, because the fact that I could find 5 songs on here that I consider really decent songs impressed me, because I originally had this, just a hair above Peter's disaster of a solo album. And it turns out,
and it is. It's to me, I've always liked it better than Peter's, because of those handful of songs right there, man. Because Peter just lost me all the way.
Oops, so, if it isn't a ballad, there's nothing good to Peter. I mean, on that album, tossing and turning, but it ain't even his song, really. I mean,
yeah.
I think Peter and Gene, instead of being themselves, okay, you don't want to be Kiss, you want to show something about yourself. That's fine, but they drew off such ancient music influences that it was so dated and so out of touch with the music that was going on at the time that it just was bound to fail. I just and fans like us who are, you know, at the time Kiss fans, maybe you're into you know, Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, all this stuff too. We can't relate to that. I mean,
No.
it does nothing. That's why I said, careful who you when your fans are younger than you, which is generally the case, right? Because fans are, you know, usually younger that buy new music. And that's true with today. People who are buying, say, the band The Warnings music are generally going to be 5-6 years younger than them. So
Yep.
know who your fan base is. Not only are you assuming that your fan base is going to accept this, you're going to assume that your fan base will also like this style of music.
Yep.
And that's just usually not the case, not when you go that far out in left field.
And
So the fact that I found 5 on here that I could listen to in modern day impressed me. It really did.
yeah, it does. It does me too, man. I really don't think about it that much either. But an honorable mention is, look what it done to Casablanca. I mean, you know, if these would have been great albums, look what it could have done for Casablanca. They
Yeah.
want to blame
Yeah.
putting all 4 of them out at the same time. That's what done it. No, putting all 4 of them out and two of them being lackluster as hell for a Kiss album. That's what done it. I blame his and Peter's album for that. Not Ace.
Well, you can actually blame his more than Peter just because of his face. Think about it. I mean, I was never a Gene guy. I mean, I always loved to look at him, but I was always a Paul or Ace guy, even as a kid. But he was the face of Kiss. So who do you think? Who do you think was the first album, if they all came out the same day, that the majority of the fans bought? The Scary Demon with blood coming out of his lip.
That's
I mean,
it.
that's their first representative.
That's
That might
it.
be the last solo album that fan buys because what they just got is not Kiss.
Nope.
Forget about, you know, never experiencing what greatness Paul and Ace put out. If they're looking at, okay, I got 4 back then, of course, 70s being, you know, simpler times, you can't, I mean, things may not have been expensive, but not everybody had money back then. I mean, so you got to make a choice. This week I can get 1 Kiss solo album. Most people were fans of Gene Simmons.
I'm on board with you because that's me. That would have been me.
And if that's their first impression, who the hell wants to go buy another one?
And the bad thing about it, my second one would have been Peter. See,
yeah,
I would have hit
yeah.
1, 2, and been like, well, fuck this.
Yeah.
So
Luckily for me, at the time, I was still a huge Ace guy because to me, to this day, he still has the coolest makeup up until the reunion when he decided the points should go from his receding hairline to his fucking chin and made his own makeup a joke. But back in the 70s, he had the coolest makeup, and I always wanted to be a guitar player, so he was my dude. So, and then Paul, I loved all the songs of Kiss that I loved the most were Paul singing. So those were the 2 I was zeroing in on. But most people you talk to is Gene. It's the image, it's the look. And so, like I said, if you're buying one of the 4 and this is what you hear, are you going to, and you're not made of money, say, well, yeah, I'll try the next guy? I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, man. I agree. I'm on board with you on that, dude, because we went through it. See, I don't know.
Well,
I wouldn't know how to do this album any better than what we just done. We went through our rankings and we know how we feel about it. And everybody tune in and see how, you know, see how you like it and see if you agree with what the hell we're saying. You know,
I would love to hear other people in the comments talk about some of these songs that we're not crazy about. There's got to be people out there somewhere who not only love this album but prefer the songs that we don't over the ones we do. They're just, everybody's taste is so different. I just would like to know why. Maybe if that is the case, what music did you listen to or do you listen to other than Kiss that might explain why you like the songs you like off this album? Nobody's wrong. It's just an opinion. I'm just curious when there's such a drastic a polarizing album like this, I always like to hear from the people who think opposite of me and why. Not just these songs rule and you suck, you're an idiot, and you know nothing, you only got 5 fucking subscribers on your. I mean, I don't want to hear that crap. Obviously, just give me what. Why do you if one of your favorite songs is one of the ones that are on the bottom of our list? Why? What appeals to you about it, and what other music were you listening to around this time? If you were a big Beatles fan who kind of like Kiss, it would make sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. If you're listening to, Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and you like this entire Gene album, that's a head scratcher to me. So.
Yeah. Make me understand.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we're right at an hour, so that's perfect.
Hey.
It's about a perfect length of. Yeah. Anything else you want to hit on quick or not?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I think we pretty
much. Do you
have
your top 15 Gene songs in order yet?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got them ready, but I'll have to. You'll have to give me another night to do that. Like I said, my mom.
No rush. I was just curious if you were able to actually pick an order.
Oh, you talking about my Gene songs or?
Yeah, I broke it down to 15, but I haven't even attempted to put them in order yet. I'm just curious how easy or hard that was for you.
I had enough. It was hard, and I walked away. When I finally looked at it and said, "This is going to be it for now," because that's the way I feel. If I come back later, I know what I'm going to do. This is the way I like them now, so I've left it alone, brother.
Yep.
Drive me crazy.
Yeah, and that's with any list. You could come back the next day and you completely change your mind. So that's good. Yep. Get it done, put it away, and don't look at it.
Absolutely, man.
All right. So hopefully your family stuff goes well, and you just reach out to me when you're ready and got time for another one.
Yeah, man. I will. Whenever you shut down here, I'll let you know.
Perfect. All right, everybody. There's Gene Simmons' solo album track rankings. And until next time, thanks for watching.